HMRC, they're bleeding cash, but are they powerless to stop these cheats?
So apparently they are very powerless. So it's been reported that between 2022 and 2023, HMRC lost over £800 million due to phoenixing.
Billions in pension tax relief goes unclaimed, and these new rules will make it even harder to claim pension tax relief.
Right.
127,000 jobs are gone in the UK, and this is on top of the tax rises in national insurance coming in April. So businesses are not hiring. AI is taking over jobs.
What are they going to do? How are they going to help these people?
The cumulative losses in the last 10 years is £1 trillion.
Wow.
The deficit. And this is the same time our receipts have doubled from 400 billion to nearly £1 trillion.
Everyone's talking about MTD, but no one actually understands what it entails. Welcome back, everyone, to PieCast episode 4, where we're here to talk all things wealth, money, and the latest news.
Amazing. Let's get straight into it. So, HMRC, they're bleeding cash.
I know.
But are they powerless to stop these cheats?
So apparently they are very powerless. So it's been reported that between 2022 and 2023, HMRC lost over £800 million due to phoenixing. And this is where a company essentially ceases trading to avoid their creditors, VAT bills, tax bills, and they essentially start the exact same business under a different name. So HMRC have supposedly lost over £800 million due to this phoenixing. And they do seem completely powerless because this number has gone up. I think it was, £570 million the year before. It's nearly
increase,
doubled, yeah.
How would HMRC even know how to catch these culprits?
To be honest, it's very difficult because they have to just kind of do lots of investigations. They've got to figure out if these companies are essentially doing the same things with the same people, if they've got the same premises as before. It's very difficult.
Well.
It's very difficult for them to crack down on this. And it's a shame because, again, it's just going to impact the average worker.
Yeah, it's difficult because for HMRC, there's so many different companies and it's so easy to create a new company. Keeping tabs of these Phoenix companies would be so difficult because it's just so easy.
It's actually impossible.
Yeah.
I would say it's impossible for them to do this.
Yeah, it is. So another story today that billions in pension tax relief goes unclaimed, and these new rules will make it even harder to claim pension tax relief.
Right. It's not going to be harder to claim pension tax relief, but it's just different. So previously you would have to, you would just call HMRC. That would probably take a long time to even get through to them, but you would call them, say the additional kind of pension tax relief that you are entitled to, obviously go through all the information with them. Whereas now, I think it's from September 2025, you can no longer call them. It all needs to be done online. You need to provide all the evidence. So the evidence can either be a letter from your pension provider or payslips from your employer that have kind of like a whole list of criteria that you need to provide. So yes, this is
more compliance, I guess.
Yes, and this actually is for PAYE. So this is if you're not going through self-assessment. If you are going through self-assessment, it's very easy to do this on the Pi app. But this is actually about if you're PAYE. So if you're not doing a self-assessment, how to reclaim the additional
which I guess would be
tax.
the majority of claimants, right? Most people be employed people.
Yeah, but it's actually more for higher rate taxpayers because the additional rate. Yeah, because you automatically get 20% of your basic rate. So this is the additional 20% that you'll get on top of your high rate.
It's a lot of money, of 1.3 billion just on the table. People don't think what's likely theirs.
Yeah, because people just don't know. They're just not. This is why I bang on about how the ministers need to bring in financial education to schools. Because otherwise people could have not known about this for 10 years.
Interestingly, we've just partnered with Invest Engine, and they have the same problem with their customers where it's not easy to claim pension tax relief.
Yeah.
So we've actually put a call to action link in their dashboard.
Amazing.
So it's one click. If you're a Invest Engine user, you can claim your tax relief through Pi, even if you're employed.
Yeah.
So I guess the easier the HMRC make the system, the more people that will claim.
100%.
Maybe they make it difficult on purpose.
Exactly. Well, I don't think they make it difficult on purpose. I just think it's so hard to get these processes in place for a country, and I think it's better that they're doing it online now. I mean, who wants to be held on the phone for hours? It's much better to be done online, but people just need to be aware that the system is changing.
Lots of really angry families with Labour. The new reforms are forcing them to sell their businesses.
Yeah.
Is inheritance tax killing entrepreneurship?
Completely. I mean, we've spoken already about the changes to agricultural property relief, which impacts farmers. So the changes that have happened there is really killing the farming industry. And it's such a shame because people who have had these farms in their family for years and years, they are having to sell off their machinery in order to pay future inheritance tax bills. I mean, it's all insane. But with business relief, it's going to be the same rule. So essentially, up to £1 million, will be inheritance tax free, but above that, it will be included in your estate, and you will have to pay 20% inheritance tax. And that is causing potentially a lot of people to have rapid fire sales of their businesses, because, you've got the 7-year cutoff for inheritance tax, and people don't want to be caught. They don't want their families to be caught. And then it brings up the question of, I've had people comment on my videos before saying children should not be entitled to receive an inheritance, which I just think is insane. You should be able to do what you want to do with your money.
Parents worked hard for that.
Exactly. And it's what they've chosen to do. They've chosen to pass it on.
And they've been taxed their whole life.
Yeah. I mean, inheritance tax is the most controversial one out there.
Yeah, you're not even safe when you die.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, because the data shows that there's actually been a big jump in inheritance tax receipts because people are flash selling their property. But I read one of your stories recently where the stamp duty is actually falling now with all the rises in stamp duty. It's actually at a detrimental effect to the receipts.
Yes, absolutely. People aren't buying. The property market's gone stagnant because people can't afford. If people were putting a certain amount of money towards a house, now they've actually got to factor in even more stamp duty, and they might not be able to afford the house that they wanted in the first place. So they might just end up renting, and it's caused a massive decrease in stamp duty receipts. And
interest rates are high as well, so it's just not a good time. And I also read a story recently where it's the lowest level of home ownership for under 30s.
Yeah.
So the government really, you can see the direct impact their policies make on our day-to-day lives. That cut off at April with the stamp duty relief, immediately you saw a crash in the market.
Yeah, but also, I mean, it's the whole cost of living crisis as well. People can't afford to put their money into a house. They can't. So what is the increase in taxes? It's just the increase of expenses for everything in life.
And it's so expensive. The house price deposit is already so high. So the government really need to fix that one. I think that's one of the most important principles of your human right, is to own your own house and have your family secure. And their policies are really harming people that need help the most.
Completely.
News today that the state pension is set to rise again.
Yes.
There's questions about can the system survive? It's a very expensive policy. Is it the triple lock formula?
The triple lock.
How does that work?
The system that we have in place in our country is called the triple lock, which means that the pension amount increases for the higher of wage growth, inflation, or 2.5%. So you are always going to see a pension increase. We've seen that the pension age is increasing to 67, which is kind of maybe their way of netting off the increase. But can the country afford this? I don't know.
It's crazy because you'll always have an outlier in those three. Like wage growth has been huge with inflation being huge. So it seems like that it's been rigged to work against the pensioners. And I guess they are the wealthiest of all generations. They, the baby boomers, they own their own houses, most of them. They really paid off their mortgages. So is it right that they have this kind of like benefit, whereas as we said earlier, the first time buyers that need help getting on the ladder have no wealth, are being penalised? Is it really fair?
I mean, I don't think so. I was actually just thinking it's quite surprising that they've done this, because you would assume it would be the lower of. So, if you have 2.5% as kind of like your baseline,
it's a decent increase.
Of course, it's a decent increase. But then if you have it as the lower of, that kind of makes more sense than being the higher. I mean, inflation could completely skyrocket. Who knows?
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's sustainable. I don't want to say I don't think it's fair, because I think that obviously pensioners are completely entitled to their state pension. But I agree with you. I feel like the younger generation needs to be helped. It's
4.5%, 4.7% in April. I think I read it's like 15 billion a year. It's a difficult one. And I think it's a big group of people that if you do then reverse that, you're losing a lot of voters. I think that's the issue they've got, aren't they?
Yes.
This is really controversial. It's something that has always worried me personally, and it's the jobs going, and with the AI boom as well coming in, and jobs already being at risk.
Yeah.
127,000 jobs are gone.
I know.
And you've also got the national insurance increase in April, so companies are not hiring.
Yeah.
You've got AI.
Yeah.
Tax increases for companies, people leaving the country.
Yeah.
And young people now, highest level ever of job openings.
Yeah.
Where can we go with this? It's really worrying.
It is really worrying. I mean, I think that what they did with the increasing the employer NI was just complete madness, because you're right. We're seeing this, absolute growth, exponential growth of AI that is, overtaking a lot of jobs. And the fact that they then increased employers NI, it just makes no sense. It kind of goes against the younger voter, the younger generation. And I mean, I am generalizing and that these people, you know, will be the younger generation, but it is common.
Penalised.
Yeah. And I just feel like they need to make a change. I don't think that change is going to come in the November budget. I think that we will just continue to see tax rises, but I think that they need to do something to help the younger generation, 100%.
This is really scary. So report today that 127,000 jobs are gone in the UK. And this is on top of the tax rises and national insurance coming in April. So businesses are not hiring.
Yeah.
AI is taking over jobs.
Yeah.
You know, you look at Facebook and all the top companies, Google, Amazon, they're letting staff go and their profits are going through the roof. What is incentivized the company to hire people now when they can just get the same job done for
and
peanuts?
Also the fact that they have to pay higher employer NI, which obviously is
probably
penalising.
why the stats are so damning. Young people really,
100%.
It's never been so difficult for them to even get on the job ladder.
Well, this is why, you know, when we talk about what's going to come up in the November budget, what are they going to do? How are they going to help these people? And then you get on the topic of tax, wealth, not work. And I've been seeing lots of videos, really kind of informative videos about why people are saying you have to tax wealth, not work. And one of the reasons is because you can't tax the working people anymore, working class people anymore.
No.
Because there's nothing left. You can't tax you shouldn't tax the middle class because they are really struggling as well. People are saying that is where they're going to go, who they're going to go for next. Tax the wealthy because they have it. That they have it, and it's taxing their wealth, their assets, not their income. Yep. So that's what people are saying they should be doing, that they should be taxing the wealthy. Yeah, because if they start targeting the middle class, then they're going to end up with nothing, and the economy is just not going to grow. It
doesn't work for normal people. It's a really interesting topic and something that we've talked a lot about here. My worry is there's always a reason to add a new tax. You think about in 2008, the crash, there was... they talked about for a long period that there was economic hardship and we had to, you know, fiscal responsibility. Then they talked about the magic money tree, and that was another reason why we had to increase taxes. And now there's this 20 billion black hole, which is another reason. There's always this reason to add a new tax. Yeah. And if you think about it logically, 10, 15 years ago, we were actually quite healthy. We had 60% debt to GDP. We had very low debt, 10x the deficit. So it seems like it's not working. And I saw a stat the other day. I looked at this with ChatGPT. The cumulative losses in the last 10 years is £1 trillion.
Wow.
The deficit. And this is the same time our receipts have doubled from 400 billion to nearly £1 trillion. So the government are collecting more money than ever, yet they're losing more money than ever. So
this is the Laffer curve. This is the Laffer curve.
Yeah. And it's like they have £1 trillion to deal with, right? Is that not enough? Can we start looking at efficiencies?
Yeah.
I'll give you one, for example, I think we can be something really easy win for us is they spent £187 billion on freezing energy prices for 6 months. £170 billion for a 6-month price cap. That isn't good value. And that went to the shareholders of these companies, not to the normal people. So my worry is we always talk about who can we tax next? Tax the wealthy. Well, we've seen wealthy people leave England, 10,000 people, most people in the world, and they do create jobs. They create wealth.
Oh, completely.
So my question is, surely there's somewhere in that spending of £1 trillion to save money. Surely rather than attack people working.
Yeah.
And I think for me, a big one could be the privatisation. There's 20 billion a year going in NHS contracts to private companies now. So we're paying double the cost. It's like you said, there's nowhere else to tax. And I'm worried now if you go more after wealthy people, and they already pay a huge amount, as you always point out, as a percentage.
They do. They pay the top 1%, they say pay 30% of all income tax.
So, so it's like everyone's paying their fair share, right?
Yeah. And also,
there has to be a different reason.
You keep penalising these people, and to be honest, if you keep penalising them, if you keep penalising the big multinational companies to the point that they move their headquarters and a lot of their staff overseas, that means that you're reducing the number of jobs again that's kind of available to people in the UK. So you got to, I mean, I don't know what the right thing to do is. Some people are saying they should just scrap all of the different taxes and just bring in like a flat rate, which actually I think Estonia's done. Apparently it's like working wonders over there.
What my question, my analogy is this, is when you ask about increasing taxes, is who do you trust more with your money, the government or business owners? That's the capitalist versus socialist question. Is like, okay, I trust the government, so that's that tax more and they can spend it wisely. Or business owners who in the very like definition of paying taxes had to make good business that's making profits. It's very difficult to do that. It's these people are building companies, creating jobs. They're the people that you can trust, and they have a track record of growing money and growing wealth. The government, as I said, they're just losing more and more money.
Well, this is what I always say, that it would be very interesting if the government brought in and when I say brought in, I don't just mean as kind of consultants and advisors. I mean as actual members of parliament, entrepreneurs and business owners. Yeah, like what Trump did. I mean, I know people disagree with Elon Musk and kind of his views and this, that, and the other. But actually, if you have business owners, brains. People with business acumen coming into the government, and maybe they need that.
There was actually a meeting, wasn't there, last week with Trump came to the UK to meet Prince Charles.
Yeah,
and he brought the business owners from America. He brought Elon Musk and Sam Altman and Jefferson from NVIDIA. All the big business moguls from America. And at the same week, they announced massive investments in the UK. We've seen this. There was like 5 billion for Amazon. There was like $1 billion for Microsoft. So like, it's difficult because they talk about this, maybe, I don't know what the word they use for it, where you have these tech cronies running policy. Ultimately, the country is in its knees, right? We are losing money. We have no growth. So maybe it is working. To give credit to the Labour government, we are bringing investment, and we do need money from companies, right?
Yeah.
Capitalism brings in new money.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult one.
Yeah.
Labour promised no more tax hikes, and there's 30 billion black holes. So how are they going to plug this black hole?
I have absolutely no idea, but we're going to be hearing more in November with the budget. Something that's coming up that I get comments on all the time is, are they going to increase the threshold? So like the personal allowance threshold.
It's been a long time, hasn't it?
It's been years.
12,750.
It's been years. And I think
inflation's gone crazy. So
inflation's gone crazy. Wages are going up. People are falling into the higher tax bracket. So actually, even though their wages are going up, they are, they're being taxed. Yeah, they're less well off.
Called fiscal drag, as they call it?
Yes, yeah. And I think that is actually one of the first things that they should do. I feel like people will feel like they've kind of got something back. I'm sure it'll be, counteracted by another tax or something like that. But I feel like that
it benefits the less well off as well, doesn't it? Yeah. It's a very fair tax because it means that you can earn more money being taxed. So it benefits
but even
people
like
that need
the inheritance tax threshold, like the nil rate band of 325,000. Why don't they just increase it? Why, as in, I'm not talking about crazy increases, but increase it so that not as many people will fall into it.
Like the pension triple lock.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly why is pension, the state pension, increasing every year?
Is it because the people that decide policy are close to pension age?
Maybe. And actually, the people that will be getting the state pension will be getting a higher state pension. They'll be going over those thresholds, so they'll be paying more tax. Maybe that's why they're doing it.
It's a trap.
Yeah.
So this is another story that really worries me. And I see this every day on my high street. I drive around and I see more and more shops closing. I just read that Miller and Carter are closing down. Lots of Wetherspoons closing down. It's where people go and meet friends. It's a very social place where people can relax and spend time with their families. It's places where people like to spend their Sundays, and more and more shops are closing.
400, they're saying. More than 400.
More than 400, yeah. And that's on the back of a record amount of shop closure. And it's just already so difficult to compete with these online retailers. And you've got business rates, you've got rents, electronic, and already you've got this working against you.
Yeah.
And what I think a high street really defines culture for a city. It's where people can go to relax and shop and meet. So when you lose your high street, you really lose the heart of your community. So that's what I think really worries me about the change of our culture because of these tax raises.
There's nothing that's actually supporting them, because if everyone goes online, there's fewer staff, so less people have jobs. And it's much easier for businesses to do for the bigger businesses to be online.
Shein and Temu and all these.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas you need to protect your high street. You need to, for people that have children and babies, and you can't be cooped up. You've got to get out. And it's just they're not doing anything to actually help the average person on the street.
It's a really good point you make, because these shopkeepers, they are your local friends and family. They are in your schools. It keeps the money in the community.
Yeah.
And when you're spending money on this Shein and Temu and Amazon, you're just paying into Jeff Bezos' back pocket, right? So it's really not benefiting people that like yourself. So, and it's not that they're not even supporting local businesses. They're actually implementing new policies that are harming them with the business rates increases, the national insurance. So where is the high street going? Like, surely the trend line shows that there's going to be no shops left eventually.
I know. And this might be why people are phoenixing their businesses.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Because if they can't cope, I mean, it is illegal. So, I mean, I'm not saying that people should be doing it at all, you know, paying your creditors, like those poor creditors that aren't being paid. But maybe that's why they have to, they have to close down. And then I mean, it is illegal, so definitely not,
Not recommended.
No, not recommended.
But wait, it explains a trend increasing because the costs have increased, so they fall behind. This was a very controversial story last week with Angela Rayner resigning over a stamp duty scandal.
Yes.
She blamed her advisors. They said they didn't advise her on that.
Yeah. And to be honest, you can't blame anyone if you are the deputy prime minister and you're putting forward these policies and you're telling everyone else to abide by the policies, and you can't. I mean, it's so
damaging for Labour. I think it's really damaged.
Yeah, apparently they are in big trouble.
Polls are really falling behind. It's a hypocrisy, isn't it? They call these is it champagne socialists, where they're remitting for this equality, but themselves have all this wealth that they're hoarding. And there was another resignation last week, I think, with Michael Gove. Huge Labour scandal last week. Yeah, all over the news. Labour heavyweight, one of their most prominent representatives, very popular MP, Angela Rayner's resigned over this stamp duty scandal. She's blaming her advisors, but ultimately
you can't blame your advisors. If you're deputy prime minister and you are implementing policies, you have to know and understand your own policies.
She knew what she was doing.
Of course she knew what she was doing. Of course she did. And actually, something's come up recently about Nigel Farage.
Oh, I saw that. He's getting a lot of stick.
He's getting a lot of stick for it as well, because he did potentially a similar thing. He had his he bought a house in his constituency under his partner's name, which obviously he was benefiting from because it was his constituency. But it was her first home, so she paid a lower rate of stamp duty. And then it was a whole thing about whether he'd basically done the same thing as Angela Rayner or not.
I've got a funny feeling that he'll get away with that, though. I don't think his supporters will be that concerned around.
Listen, he's not the deputy prime minister. It's very different. If you're elected and you're kind of you're in office at the moment, it's completely different.
So the question remains over like integrity and transparency. And I saw a comment on your post the other day about like has politics ever been like this low, with a lack of trust and constant scandals on the news? It was the Tories, now it's Labour. Yeah, it seems like they're all cut from the same cloth, if you know what I mean. They're all similar they're trying to get I
do think this is a really bad look for Labour. I feel like if they're trying to make themselves, the party for the people, that behaviour is not party for the people. That is kind of like you feel like you're better than everybody else and you can do what you want and you'll get away with it. It's corruption.
They're in real this year. They're talking about summer even last a year. There's apparently people going against him, and
I know. But they always do.
It's a shame.
But they always do. You see this with every government. They always go against the leader.
Yeah.
If they feel like they might be in murky waters, everyone wants to be on the side that's winning. All the ministers do.
Yeah, because a lot of Tories have moved to reform now.
Yeah.
And it's really frustrating as a normal resident of the country, and you're trying to see progression, and there's so much infighting, and it's like nothing's progressing because nothing's getting done.
But it's all ego.
It's all ego. It's all backstabbing. There's no trust. There's no integrity there, and you're not seeing these new policies that we need to save the country. You're just seeing scandal after scandal, and they're wasting so much time. You're almost not vying for communism or whatever of China, but they just get stuff done. And I think if you look at Norway, that's in a lot of the European cities, there's less scandals. They're more focused on helping the people, and it seems like the UK is just really in a bad place right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Lots of green entrepreneurs are saying that the new oil and gas projects that are happening and that Labour are stuck, and there's a debate over the new North Sea projects. I saw an article about Ineos is at the Manchester United owners, and they've stopped investing in the North Sea.
Okay.
Because the Labour government have increased North Sea taxes from 75% to 78%.
Wow, okay.
So you've got this energy crisis, and we pay the highest energy rates in the world. It's like 3x the next biggest provider. Most of that is from the government. It's from their green policies. It's from their incentives, and it's from their high tax rates. The people suffering are the homeowners who see the energy bills just increase year after year. It's a cost as well that you can't really shop around for because it's the fixed rate cost from the suppliers. It's all tied into this tax policy it's called the windfall taxes on these providers. Do you think they've gone too far with taxes? Is it having a detrimental effect on us? Is there other ways to, again, I talked about earlier about the 187 billion that was spent on subsidising spills for 6 months, which was a waste of money.
Yeah.
What do you think government should do with energy? More broken promises from the government. Labour said there were no tax rises.
Yeah.
And there's 5 that they've already pushed through.
Yeah.
One being National Insurance Class 4, one being inheritance tax, and one of them that I think is just an absolute pee take, I'm sorry to swear, is that they've now put through a proposal to take half of your pension when your partner dies.
So that is essentially saying that your pension will be included as part of your estate when you die. So when you say taking 50%, it's taking it will be added to your inheritance tax bill, which is insane. That's coming into effect. They're talking about from April 2027. And that is a big hit.
Because you've lost your partner as well. It's like
I know.
Your partner's paid in their whole life.
And it's
just tax on widowers.
100%. And also you're just talking about, again, like inheritance tax. They've paid their taxes throughout their lives. They've paid their tax on their pension. Why is it now being added to your estate when you die?
There's no incentive now, is there, I guess I saw an article yesterday about the record amount of people pulling money out of pensions before the budget because they're worried about this.
Yeah, 100%. But they do need to know the rules, because a bunch of people have been commenting and messaging me asking about this. You can, up to a certain value, get 20% as a lump free sum. Any more than that, you will be taxed quite heavily on it. So just bear that in mind. And also, this isn't coming into effect until 2027. So there's no need to kind of act super fast. You have time to think about it and like ask the right questions. But it is scary. People are panicking about it, because for people that, of pension age and aren't working anymore, they rely on it.
So it seems like the system is broken and the people being penalised are younger people.
Yeah.
The highest ever job openings, AI is taking jobs, and the cost of getting a degree is higher than ever, and taxes are being frozen, so lower earners are paying more tax. Home ownership, lowest level ever for under 30s. What are really good ideas and strategies that young people can adopt? What advice can you give? The government not going to help them. What can they do to help themselves? There's talk about this benefit of having child benefit if you've got a child. And there's a ways of saving money with using the child benefit system.
Okay, I'll get to the child benefit system in a second. The best ways to save money for people in the younger generation, but to be honest, anyone, is one, to max out your ISA if you can. You've got a £20,000 annual allowance, and once the 5th of April hits, it's gone. You can't backdate it, so you kind of use it or lose it. And the next thing that we always say is, if you can, this is always if you can, put money into your pension. I know we just talked about pensions, but put your money into a pension, because by doing that, you automatically, if you're basic rate taxpayer, you automatically get 20% tax relief. If you're higher rate, you get additional 20%. Additional rate, you get an extra 25%. So there are real tax benefits of doing this. Child benefit the comments that I've received have gone through the roof, because we've been talking about how we feel that potentially the system is broken when it comes to child benefit, because you can have one family that earns £120,000 split equally between the couple, and you can have another family where one person earns £120,000, the other person doesn't work. They're entitled to no child benefit.
Same household income.
The same household income. Couple A are entitled to child benefit. I think the amount's like £2,200 child benefit. And the other couple are entitled to absolutely nothing. So how is that fair? And
also, you've got different income tax bands, right? So they're taking home more money because they're not in that 40%. As much of their income is not in that 40%.
Also, you've got two personal allowances. So they're paying less tax on that income to start with, and they're getting child benefit. And it just begs the question of why do they make it so complicated? Why don't they just have a raw household income? And then when you exceed £60,000, because they start tapering down the child benefit that you can have after £60,000. So why don't they just make it so much easier and just say household income? This is the amount that you are entitled to as a household.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I just feel like what people are basically saying is that if somebody is earning £120,000 and the other person is at home, they don't need the childcare costs. But why should the government be telling people what they should be doing?
Yeah, it does make sense. I guess we talk about this a lot around with the new taxes increasing and people kind of like wondering what their options are. What are the implications of moving abroad? Like, what's the difference in earnings if you were to go to, let's say, somewhere like Dubai?
Okay, well, Dubai is a very good example, because we all know how high the taxes are in the UK, and in Dubai there are no income taxes. I think they've just introduced corporation tax, but there are no income taxes. So if you earn £205,000 in the UK, that equates to £120,000.
You take home
You take home £120,000.
nearly half. You get half of your basic
Yeah,
money.
basically. If you want £120,000 in Dubai, you only need to earn £120,000. So, of course, there are so many. I completely see why people are leaving, and they're leaving for a better quality of life for their families. Because if there's more earning potential, they feel like their families will obviously really benefit. Yeah.
What is the benefits of being married? You talk about marriage being a cheat code.
Yes.
Why is marriage a financial cheat code?
Because you're combining two incomes together. So let's say you're single and you earn £60,000, just kind of broad figure. You have to pay all of your bills, probably not a lot of income left. Yeah, no disposable cash. And if there is any, you'll be using it as disposable income. You probably won't be saving anything. If you are a dual income family, but essentially one person will be paying the bills because you'll be living in more or less, let's say you're living in a flat. You'd be living in the flat by yourself, or you're living in the flat with one person, same bills, near enough same food bills, maybe a bit more if there's two of you. But you've got saving potential and investment potential, and you can put some of that extra money from the other income.
Disposable income.
Yeah, exactly. And it really is a cheat code. And I feel like the government should bring in more policies to help single parents and just people that aren't married.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we talk about, you talk a lot about savings habits and the difference between a pension and an ISA.
Yes.
They compound so much differently. What are the differences in investing in something like a pension and an ISA?
Okay, so the main difference between the two of them is that an ISA you can access whenever you want to. Whereas when you put the money into a pension, you can only take it out at retirement age. If you take it out before, you're taxed quite heavily on it, and you'll lose your tax relief, the tax benefits. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that with an ISA, you can control more. So if you have a workplace pension, you're going into your workplace pension, so they are in control of your money. With an ISA, you can decide if you want to keep it in a cash ISA, invest in the stock market. It's much more up to you and what you want to do.
What's a small thing someone could change to maximize their pension after 25 years? What's sort of the most successful vehicle to place your pension contributions?
I don't really understand. And then on top of all of this, if you compare the amount of money that you can be making through putting your money into pension or an ISA compared to just keeping it in the bank, I think the average bank interest is around 3% a year. Whereas if you put into an ISA or a pension, I think they say it's about 7%. So think about how much more money you could be making.
The compound effect.
Compound effect. You could double. If you put £450,000, I think that over the course of 25 years, I'm pretty sure it can get to like £1 million, I've read. And also, if you're thinking about the amount of money that you can actually make by putting your savings into these different vehicles, a pension or an ISA, compared to just in the bank. Let's say you put in £450 a month into the bank on, let's say, 3% interest, which I think is what it is, for 25 years, you will earn about £450,000. If you put the same amount of money into a pension or ISA, and let's say it was about the average stocks and shares, they say it's about 7% average return a year, you'll be making over £1 million.
Wow.
So think about the difference in what you can be doing with your money. Of course, you've got to look into the risks and everything, and you've got to be comfortable with where you're putting your money. But there is
stock market goes up, doesn't it? It doesn't really it's not going to drop.
Of course, but compound interest is huge, and the tax benefits that you get.
Massive difference.
Yeah.
What's the tax hack that David Beckham is using?
Everyone wants to know how David Beckham has been saving money. People are obsessed with it. But basically what he's been doing is instead, and this is post-football, so this is with kind of like his brand deals and partnerships and things like that. Instead of having a limited company in the UK, he's based his company in Ireland, which has a corporation tax of 12.5% compared to our corporation tax of 25%. And of course, he's not done it personally. Otherwise, he'd be a high additional rate taxpayer at 45%. But he has apparently saved between £6 and £7 million by being tax efficient. It's a legal loophole. He's not doing anything illegal.
Yeah, well, makes sense. It's a big saving, and it's totally fine. And it's not like it's in a tax-free region. He's paying tax. He's just paying a lower tax rate. This is why I guess government should be competitive, right, with a tax rate, because they'll just go elsewhere.
Right. Pi has been going from strength to strength. It's like exponential growth at the moment. How many downloads are we on?
We've just hit 70,000 downloads.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's been insane. We have released our new AI accountant, which has really drove users to the app.
Yeah.
And there's a real strong community behind the app. We've raised on Crowdcube 500 investors now. So it just shows you the demand's there for an app that makes taxes easier. We're
100%.
also still free. And the Pi Tax app now is close to reaching 100,000 users.
That's incredible. That is a real milestone. And also now it's like perfect timing because we're about to kind of head into the new tax season. MTD is coming into effect in April. You know, we're nearing
8 months away.
Yeah.
People really, so I saw a stat that only 4% of users have signed up to MTD.
Yeah.
They're not aware of the new requirements to file 5 times a year. So the Pi app makes it really easy to file.
It really does.
Really easy. And we've got a desktop product now as well. So users can use the computer or the app. It's really easy up to them.
What are the newest updates in the app?
Well, the biggest update that we've got coming live is a new update for landlords. 2 million landlords a year have to file tax returns for their income property. And there's no current app dedicated for landlords. It's taken about a year to build this out because there's so many nuances compared to self-employment.
Yeah.
And it goes live next week. So anyone out there that has a property that has to declare their income, their rental income, or their holiday lettings or their rent-to-room income, you can use the Pi app now, and it's completely free to use.
And does it list everything out? So if you've got different types of properties, is it easy to
You
list
can
them
set
all?
up multiple properties.
Yeah.
You have the correct categories for the expenses.
Yeah.
If you have other income like employment, you can also add that on the app. So you can cater for all income types. And it takes seconds to file your return. It really does. You connect your bank account. You smart match your transactions. It takes a few seconds, and then your property income is all aggregated and calculated, and you can file directly to HMRC in a few seconds. So it is a really important feature that we're quite excited about.
Amazing. Everyone's talking about MTD, but no one actually understands what it entails. Can you let everyone know more?
So if you're self-employed or you're a landlord, you now have to file 5 times a year. It starts with people that are 50K earners and then 30K and 20K.
Yeah.
So basically everyone will have to file 5 times a year. We've made an app, the Pi app, for these people that have to file. It's very easy and it's completely free to use. What people don't understand is the thresholds. They kick in April 2026 for 50K earners. Only 4% of people that have to sign up have signed up already. So people are just really not aware of these requirements, and it's not very clear. What I would say to you is if you are self-employed or you're a landlord, get on top of it early. We have a completely free app called the Pi app. All you do is connect your bank account and we do all the calculations for you. It's completely free to use and it's MTD compliant. So if you're looking for a solution and you're self-employed or a landlord, the Pi app is by far the best solution.
Rumor has it you've built the first AI accountant. Is it true?
It is true. It is true. It's been a very difficult product to build. And we are in market now. If you have a tax return to file, a self-assessment to file, you can use the Pi app, either desktop or the app. All you have to do is connect your bank account and the AI accountant will do your return for you in 30 seconds.
Wow.
And this is a $30 billion a year tax software industry and a $750 billion accountancy industry. So we are your tax software and we're your accountant in one place.
Wow.
And we're completely free. So if you now are confused and you're stressed and you're worried about your tax return, use the Pi app. It's completely free to use and the AI will do it in 30 seconds. You can't get easier than that.
I've got to say, it is incredibly easy to use. I can vouch for that. Thanks for joining us today. If you want to watch more of our PieCast videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to hear any more free tax tips, please follow me at TaxQueenC. Bye.